Today we'll be fixing this very badly resprayed Audi. It's in a lovely shade of red, however it needs a lot of work to make it very lovely again. Here we go guys, let's have it. Good morning everyone, you actually catch me from my home address today. I'm going to be working on this lovely red Audi for the next couple of days on and off in between my other mobile works. Looks gorgeous, doesn't she? Well, I'll show you under the light. She doesn't quite look as nice as she should do, and that's why she's here with me. At the end of the day, I'll get her all looking up straight and whatnot. Going to be doing full paint correction on this red car for the next week or so. She's going to be with me. I'm going to be working sort of on and off, doing some mobile jobs here, there and everywhere throughout the week, and I'll be returning to this sort of throughout the week. So yeah, you can just see that the new van is all set up over there. I'm going to get all the water out on the go and everything, get wet work done, safe wash, decon, etc. And then we'll get cracking with some machine work, and damn, she's going to need a lot of it. It's going to be good fun, this one. So yeah, stay with me and enjoy. If you're familiar with my videos, by now you'll know that we start off with the alloys before we go ahead and do anything with the bodywork. However, in this instance, these alloys have actually recently been refurbished over the last week or so. So instead of me hitting these with the dedicated alloy wheel cleaning, which is probably a little bit too strong and unnecessary for them, I've gone straight in with liquid fire fallout remover, giving them a quick rinse off, and then I'm just working in with a little soft bristle brush into the front facings and the back of the barrels as well. I'm going to take this moment as well just to point out that I won't be safe washing this vehicle. Usually I'd go ahead and do 1, maybe 2 rounds of pre-wash before making contact with the vehicle with a mitt. Well, it's not really necessary on this car. If I'm honest with you, the paintwork's in bad enough condition, it's not going to make a blind bit of difference. And I'd much rather take the time that I'm going to be saving here on the pre-wash and put that straight into the correctional work with the machine polishers. You'll see what I'm talking about shortly anyway. The red is very faded, it's very swirled, there's rotary heavy cutting marks literally everywhere, sanding scoring everywhere. It's in dire need of day one help, and that's exactly what she's going to get. So stay tuned, you're going to really enjoy some of the 50/50 transforms on this one. Even though I'm not going to be safe washing this vehicle, I do need to get into all the nooks and crannies all the same. It's imperative that we do this, otherwise we're going to pick bits and pieces up on the pads, and that's not what we want. So you can see me here, I've been in with a brush into all the little areas that's like more difficult to get into with a mitt, and now I'm flying down the side, front, back, roof, all that with the mitt itself, getting a nice and clean ahead of doing some decontamination work. Speaking of decontamination work, after this I've run the tire and glue remover over the whole vehicle with a little application pad, rinsed it all off, and you're about to see me hit this side with a clay bar and fallout remover. It's actually possible to do both of these two at the same time. The fallout remover acts as a clay lubricant, which is a nice little top tip there for you if you're trying to save a little bit of time while you're doing your decon stages. And it also does exactly the same thing. You don't need to separate these stages at all. You can do the fallout remover and use the clay bar on it straight after. Here you can just see me performing a little magic trick of drying the car with water. Yeah, drying the car with water. This actually allows you to remove 90% of the water off of the vehicle before you actually towel dry it or blow dry it. Here you can see some of the swirling and rotary marks that are on these piano black pillars. I'm going to absolutely annihilate these with various different stages on the rotary, with a heavy cut, medium cut, and then I'm going to be refining out with a dual action machine as well. Stay tuned, you're going to love this 50/50 in a minute, it's naughty. If you're familiar with my videos, you'll know exactly what stage of machine work I'm doing here. And if you're not familiar with machine work, I recommend you go and actually watch my video on how to fix faded paintwork, where I describe all the necessary methods for how to perform paint correction in a safe manner with all the necessary machines and pads. It's a nice little in-depth explanation, go and check that out. Having finished the heavy cutting rounds with that red hard pad that you see in the heavy cut from Flex, I'm now refining it out with the yellow Visa pad. This is slightly softer than the red pad, and I'm using Cartec 9000 refinishing polish, which is basically a refinement polish. And I'm then following it up, as you can see here, with a dual action machine, the little Flex PXE80, which oscillates and rotates, allowing you to further refine it out a lot better. You'll get a lot more gloss and you'll lose all the haze in it. Obviously this is the yellow pad, this is nice and soft, and I'm just buffing off the polish here, and now you're going to see some sexy 50/50s. This is outrageous. Look at the difference in the clarity of these two panels. Left side not done, right side done. Wow. Moving on to the red paintwork now. To be fair, most of this red has actually been resprayed. About 80% of the vehicle has had respray work done, barring the roof and the two pillars above the windows. Other than that, most of it's been resprayed and some of it's not been done very well. It's not been flatted back after it's been painted. It's very, very hazy, as you can see here down that passenger front door, which is something that I aim to fix, and it's going to require quite a lot of correctional work with a rotary. I'm heavy cutting her here first with a very heavy hard pad, the green one from Svissa. This pad is pretty much annihilating 95% of the defects that are in the paint, ready for me to go ahead and refine her out shortly with the yellow Svissa pad as well. I've pretty much done 3 to 5 passes with this green pad, and in some instances I've actually had to reapply some polish and cut it again to get the desired result. Here you can just see me using the refinement polish. In this case I believe I'm using the Flex refinement polish on this pad, which again is the yellow Svissa pad. When you perform heavy cutting on paintwork, usually it leaves what we call heavy cutting marks in the paint thereafter. Where you're using an abrasive like compound and you're actually cutting away at the clear coat, it can leave a haziness in the paintwork. Well, this yellow pad and the medium polish basically aims to remove that haziness and remove any of the heavy cutting marks that you've left from the first time round, leaving the paintwork a lot more glossy and ready for fully refining out, usually with the dual action. Here I am doing the final stages on this panel. This is refinement. I'm using the little Flex PXE80 dual action device with the yellow Svissa pad, and you're going to see some really awesome 50/50s in a minute. You're going to see how the red's got so much more vibrant than it was before. I've taken out 95 to 98% of the swirls and deeper defects as well. Watch this. Bosh, that is so much better, and I'm really looking forward to showing you what it looks like down the side on the bottom of the door where it's completely cloudy and hazy. I'm going to completely transform this paint, so stay tuned, you're going to really love it. I'm hoping by now you've got the general gist of how paint correction goes. Heavy cut pad, heavy polish, medium pad, medium polish, and then soft pad, soft polish. And depending on what paintwork it is, you might have to use a whole host of different array of pads or polishes within those different ranges. It varies completely, to be honest with you, on the type of panel you're working on, the colour of the panel you're working on. Sometimes different panels on the same car can be different. It's all a process of just working out what works best, using the light and being proud of your work and making sure that you've got it as good as it can possibly be within the realms of what clear coat you've got to use. In this instance, this car's being resprayed, so there's actually a fair bit of lacquer to work with on some of these panels, and I've got a good way to go down to be able to remove all of the defects, which is handy. However, there are some panels on this car where it is a little bit lower than I'd like it to be, and I do have to be mindful. But hey ho, you've got to do what you can do, and to be fair, this car looks mega now. Have a look at this. Not only have we got a major difference in the actual shade of the red, but also pay attention to the actual texture of these panels. That left door is so cloudy and hazy you can't actually pick anything out. If on the right side you can actually make things out. Look at the clarity of the van, and then bang, it's all cloudy and horrible, and then bang, it's all nice and clear again. This is the finished door once I've transformed it, and as you can see I've actually made it clearer. Have a look at this and all. This is more heavy cutting marks that were in the car beforehand, making it nice and hazy and horrible. And look at the texture difference. That light is now pinpoint in that panel. It's also much darker, the red, much more vibrant. Back at it again now. This is the final bit of correction I'm actually going to show you on camera before showing you a load of 50/50 results of both the piano black, the difference in the red under the spotlight, without the spotlight, basically just the differences that you can see on befores and afters and some epic 50/50s. After that I'm going to show you a little bit of ceramic coating where we'll be laying the coating down this vehicle to protect it going forward, and I'll show you some finishing videos of the vehicle. Let's have it. If you can for me, pay attention to that polish and the machine polish on the floor there. See how it's nice and clear here on this door? And then, oh dear, you can barely even make anything out in it. And then all of a sudden, bang, it's nice and clear again. So much better after I've done the correctional work on it. And you can imagine what I actually managed to achieve over the whole vehicle. The red looks outstanding now in comparison to before. I can't wait to show you then finishing shots, honestly. Have a look at this piano here. You can barely see me in the reflection. It's horrible. And then all of a sudden, bang, that reflection is there. This black looks so much better now once it's been fully corrected. I must admit, piano black is my favourite to work on. Look at the texture difference and the colour difference. Everything is so much better after it's been done. Well, This is what the car looks like after multiple days, multiple hours of machine polishing work that's gone into this vehicle. It was so worth it. Look at the reflection down that side, it's pinpoint now. The gloss levels have massively improved. The red is really vibrant, which you'll get to see out in the sunlight at the end. It's just come along tenfold. It really was worth all the hard work that I've put into this car, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed working on it. I've also had Ashton working alongside me as well today and another day that we've had during the week, which you'll see him on in a second. You can see me here just panel wiping this vehicle down. What we're doing here is IPA alcohol wiping the paintwork down after it's had all of its polish work done, which removes all the oils, all the impurities, any polish residue, all that sort of thing, and allows us to promote a better bond between the ceramic coating and the paintwork itself, therefore allowing that coating to cure nicely and do its job in the future for you. Here I am laying the actual ceramic down, the good stuff. And my approach here is effectively to draw a line down the middle of the panel I'm working on, draw a line around the outside of it, and then fill it in like a crown book, as you can see here. Once the ceramic is applicated and flashed nicely, you can go over it with what I like to call cloth 1 and cloth 2. The first cloth being the one that removes most of the ceramic initially, and the second one being the one you go over every single square inch, including the edges that you may have gone over the edges with, and removing all of it so that there's no haziness in it, there's no high spots in it. You must be thorough with this process. As you can see here, I go over everything pretty much twice. Now that I've done you a walkthrough, as you can see, I've actually got Ashton with me in this shot, and we're going to quickly do a little montage of us flying through the rest of the car, doing a bit of coating work, with Ashton being my cloth 1 and me being cloth 2. I'm basically the quality control, as it was. So yeah, we'll finish this up, and then once this is all finished, I'll show you some nice finishing shots, and it's worth waiting for, guys. This is what a week and a half to 2 weeks worth of work looks like. As you can see from Ashton here, smiles all round. Let's do this. As you can see from the assortment of finishing shots, the car looks fantastic both in the light and out of the light, and when my customer came to collect the vehicle an hour after these shots, he was chuffed, and I've since had messages to say that I've outdone myself. Thank you very much for your custom again, Darren. You're a top bloke and you deserve a lovely looking motor. Speaking of lovely looking motors, I'd like you all to drop me a comment below so you can let me know what you want the next video to be. I've got the C43 correction that I did with Lee. I've got this lovely little black smart car and a couple of other vehicles at that property that I worked on, including me using the razor on the boot lid to get rid of some of that fluffy carpet. And then I've got a black Renault Zoe, which would be Batman's vehicle if he was to drive an EV. This vehicle needs a hell of a lot of work, and the video on this one is going to be a good one, so let me know which one you want to see next. Subscribe to the channel, there's going to be plenty of stuff up and coming that you're going to really enjoy. As always, the caption's got all the details on the products used, the processes, this and that. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.